All right, I'm doing a little experiment. Welcome to the Lila Life Show. Right now, I am doing an experiment with AI where I'm using the AI summary on Zoom feature. And after this, I'm going to do some work with that. I'm letting this be an episode of the Lila Life Show as a way to be open concept. I'm going to be free flowing this whole entire experience. So if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't add up, you're literally getting to join me on a brainstorming session. So I've been feeling really frustrated for the past 5 years or longer because there's this idea that's emerging from me that I feel like I'm kind of being choked out in. When I was in middle school, I told my classmate he could work for my center one day. And that's my earliest memory of having a lifestyle facility. And what's emerged as the brand Lila Life with some different pillars, which I'll talk more about, things feel like they're not happening fast enough and it can feel really frustrating. Like at this point in time, I wanted to have real estate going. I wanted to have, a team built out on the tech side. I want to have other integrative advisors. I keep building all of this out and I'm serving and I'm working with other clients and getting them great outcomes and growth in their business. But I just personally am feeling a little bit as a plateau, and this has been playing out in different ways over the past 5 years. So, with all that being said, I am thankful for the experiences I've had. I know that each twist and turn is the next twist and turn, and I'm learning so much. But I'm at a point right now where I'm ready to get on a rocket ship. I literally considered going into space industry, like either sales or maybe becoming an astronaut. And there's all these gifts, talents, experiences, backgrounds that I know are all coming together. But like I said, I've been feeling frustrated. So it's led me to take this next action where I can see part of the frustration that I'm experiencing is part of fragmenting. I can see that the ideas that I've had are still all separated out, and it's time for me, and it's as I'm on my own healing journey and calling all the pieces home to me, it's time to call all these pieces home. So I'm focusing the rest of today's conversation on what I'm looking at as a 5-year plan. This I could see play out over the next 5 to 20 years, and I'm really excited about. I'm going to be using everything I share today to then put into very specific like tools. One will be a pitch deck, one will be a business plan, but I'm wanting to get my thoughts out there, wanting to speak the truths into all this and talk through some of the little details and nuance and just really let this dream run wild. And if you want to listen to that, join me for the next however long this is going to take. And if not, we'll see you next week on the regular scheduled program. And just as a side note, I hope you've been enjoying the interviews that I've been doing. I'm having so much fun, and I hope you can see that and feel that. Getting to speak to the different experts, the different people that we've had on the show, especially over the past couple weeks, it just feels like it's building, it's growing. I've been doing the Lila Life Show podcast for 4 years plus. This will be the 4 years. We're going on 4 years, or we're in the fourth year. But 2019 was the beginning of this. I believe it was the fall. So yeah, it's exciting, and I'm still doing it. And that's what this awareness for me, I was like, you're still doing this. If you didn't like it, if you didn't love it, you wouldn't still be doing this. So that kind of hit me head on this year. And I'm laughing because I'm just like, all right, if I'm doing it, how can I make it better? Uh, Different guests, more interesting conversations, being more myself, trying out some of my silly jokes, amping up the background, getting better camera, getting audio, getting the edits going. There's all these ideas and ways that this podcast can grow and emerge. And I'm just really seeing the power of content. I've built out what's in total 700 pages. One is like the full operating content of Lila Life, and the other is like the entrepreneur's guide to integrative well-being and business architecture. So that's been really fun, and I could create all day literally, but I just am like, okay, what do we do with all this content? What are we doing to make these teachings real? So another element of that is just really playing and applying with the teachings. One that I'm obsessed with right now is called Team: How to Use Your Time, Energy, Attention, and Money, the acronym TEAM. And for early stage founders, this is huge. You're literally you are your team, you're figuring out who to hire, you're starting to outsource, you're rubbing up against all these huge lessons and learning curves. If you remember back in 2021, I had scaled up to have a team of like 24, and that was all within a year. I had 17 coaches and 7 contractors working for me. And just as fast as I built that up, I feel like I wound that down. And there was tremendous learning there. And so understanding before you're making your first hires, how are you using your team, your inner and outer team, your time, your energy, your attention, and your money? And so that's an example of a teaching that's become extremely refined. And the other one that I'm loving is MVP squared. Sorry, MV squared P. MV squared P, which is MVV squared, mission, vision, values, and purpose. Having this in your life and in your business, feeling so connected to that. And this is my brief description of mission, vision, values, purpose. Mission, it's like the vehicle you're using to get to your vision. The vision is your desired outcome, where you're headed. The values are your guideposts, your guide rails along the journey. And purpose, this extra juicy why. This is like the gasoline that's getting your vehicle going, or your electric charge. And so how are you connecting with that mission, vision, values, purpose in your life, in your business? Absolutely, there can be some crossover, likely there will be, and connecting with that inner alignment on a daily, weekly, quarterly, monthly basis. So there's a lot that I can go into around the content, around the teachings. Obviously, you get to hear parts of that on the show. My obsession with business and well-being is hearing from others that have been courageously traversing their well-being journey. And maybe they are stepping outside of the normal conversations or rhetoric, and they're going on that inner journey and inner understanding. And I think getting to see other people's path of that is huge. I like to share mine when relevant and impactful. And in addition to that, the business side, right? There's so much early stage that can go wrong. And for you to understand, oh wow, like this is hard, it's going to be hard. How can I build the resilience around doing something that's hard? And how can I get the pieces in place? And at the early stage where some of the mistakes can have so many detrimental impacts, either giving away too much equity, not giving enough, not using your resources. And that just whole journey, what I like to say, zero or pre-revenue to a million ARR, which is in some circles called product market fit. If we had a billion million-dollar businesses, that would be $1 trillion worth of capital created. That sounds crazy, but it's like if 1 in 8 people globally were entrepreneurs making $1 million, that's what that would equal. So maybe a large pursuit, but what gets me fired up is that we do have money in existence right now. And what happens when the entrepreneurs are the ones that are having the capital flows predominantly than what currently is the structure? So that's a whole other conversation, which I'm personally exploring. But again, this connects me back to my purpose of anything that I'm putting out there is to support our creators from a space of well-being. And by creator, I mean emerging entrepreneur, but there's many other ways of creation, like babies are creations, right? Mamas and their daddies or their partners that are making the babies, this is creative energy, right? And so business and well-being, or creative energy and well-being, this intersection, I'm very excited about. I'm bullish about. It's taken my whole journey of former financial professional, former NCAA Division I swimmer, failing entrepreneur, all these ups and downs and just heartaches and heartbreaks along the way to get to this point to help others and have fun doing it. And so the have fun doing it, Lila means divine play in Sanskrit, which you may have heard me say a million times. But that is just to me like the life force energy pulsing, pumping through me, through you, right? We all come with our very specific blueprint of life and get to live that every day. And there's disempowering and empowering ways to do that. So I want to talk about the 5 aspects of Lila life and how I see those playing out over the next 5 years and truly like the next 20. and what I need to do, what I need to get going for each of these to be successful, and how I see this fitting into a master business plan. And I want to also, through this, put together a business model canvas. This is a tool that I absolutely love. So I think we'll do that as a part two, is talking through the business model canvas. And my intention of sharing this, like I said, was to be like this open source. You get to peek behind the curtain, but I also, maybe you're getting some understandings of how to ideate and have some creative time and energy around your business, around what you're working on. So the 5 pillars of Lila Life are tech, media, real estate, retail, and experiences. There's a lot of intersection there, but I want to just speak to how I'm looking at that. So the tech, this is like the background platform to support everything. Ideally, this would be a dashboard and an application. I would love to see this supporting the early stage founders, specifically with like our little algorithm of our well-being score and our business architecture score. And so founders have that self-ranking system, and it's just really easy to see and track. And there could be some really cool integrations that make that easier to understand, but that's the predominant aspect. Having some really well-trained AI in place. I forget all the terms, but there's just something there where I have all this content. We're going to keep building it out. I'm having amazing sessions with my consulting clients, with my integrative advisory clients, and how can we leverage like a huge repository of information for our current advisors, which is me, and our future advisors, which is another aspect that I want to round out here. So that tech, this being again the platform, and then that information, which is a really beautiful segue into media. The way I see media is our external facing and our internal facing, and our internal being for members, and then of course our internal being for team, and our external being for marketing. And so when we have our media external facing, internal facing, for the membership or the team, obviously there's content production. Having this be highest quality for lowest cost is on my mind. What are the innovative ways to do that? Is it bundling up a partnership with other content creator service providers or like tool providers? So like the camera, the microphone, that we could have those bundles and we're renting those out. There's so many ideas around there for the media, but there needs to be an easy way to seamlessly create that content, upload the content, and get the content out there. So you can see that connection with tech, but also the media, and again, that content being around well-being and business architecture. Their real estate ties in well with retail and experiences. There are 3 different real estate concepts that I have. One is more of a vacation, excuse me, vacation experience. One is more of a retail experience, excuse me, a retreat type experience. And then lastly is our advisory element, more for big commercial projects. So that is that. Retail ties into the real estate, ties into the experiences, ties into the tech. There's a huge opportunity, and I currently have a few amazing partners. I'm working to grow it. Some of my favorite partners right now are Neurohacker Collective, which they have my most favorite brain supplement that I use called Qualia, and they have some other amazing products as well. Senolytic is one that just keep you firing on all cylinders. One of my other favorite partners right now is we just had him on the podcast, Apollo Neuro, with the wearable. Oh my gosh, I'm about 3 weeks into wearing it, and I've increased mega sleep, my score's up, and I'm just feeling all around more grounded and inspired. So thank you, Apollo Neuro, with both of those. Promo code Lila Life if you want to take a look at those. But I would see the real estate tying in with retail, where we're able to sell our amazing partner products and, have that integration to what they're doing. And then lastly is experiences. there's a lot of different pop-up concepts that around food, beverage. I'm a trained chef. I also don't drink, so my social life is different than maybe my social life from my 20s. And with that, it's really opened my eyes to what the social life is like outside of evenings. We kind of run on a farmer schedule, so we're up really early and we're to bed really early. And it can be a little weird in that adjustment phase of like, what is social life? When is good family time? But I just adore this schedule, and having experiences that, again, are that intersection of business and well-being that tie all these elements together and are also just an incubator for different business concepts like this, which ties again back into the tech. And this just, I don't know if it's the overlay. I think the overlay, I still need to flesh some of this out on the legal side, but there being an element of uh, advisory slash equity slash private equity slash venture capital. I don't know exactly what the structure is looking like, but this incubator component around that. So for revenue models, I'm seeing subscription, I'm seeing, an element through the real estate transactions, or even the cash flow of that. The retail, obviously commissions and experiences would be a fee or bundled into the membership. So there's a lot of opportunity here. And yeah, like going from here to 5 years, whether it's 5 years or 20 years, I just want to paint this full vision where you have these spaces that you can go to. I'm picturing the sweet spot for retreat spaces up to 20 to 26 guests and practitioners, that these are within an hour, maybe up to 3 hours, to really beautiful nature spaces. So there's an integration with nature, and there's reverence for the local happenings as part of that, but these sacred retreat spaces that people could fly in and out of somewhat easily and have the full experience. In these spaces, there's a tech integration to this retail through experiential retail. And of course, this connection to the tech and the media. So whether you are a founder and you need support, you have this trusted platform that is currently operating as the Lila Life Collective, but who knows the forms that it will take on in the future. And yeah, you love the real estate so much that you want to buy into little single vacation units. I used to call this ecopods, but there being some aspect of real estate sales, both on the land and on the structure side. I touched on the experiential retail, but just having all of the retail integrated through tech, through the real curated partners, and that being a haven just for content. And you could see how this beautiful cycle can all kind of connect itself. So I think that's everything I want to say. That's at its full bore, is like this highly functional tech, highly functional spaces that integrate the retail and experiences, and everything's working together. So yes, it feels like we're still at the early phases. The podcast, we're rounding out at about 120 episodes, which is really exciting. YouTube channels humming along. I've been Xing or tweeting, whatever you want to call it. And what else do we got going? Some light social. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, even promoting the blogs, the YouTube channel, the podcast, and the emails. We got the emails going out weekly, which is really fun. There's some different events that I'm going to be launching. I have 2 supper club pop-up dinners. I'm going to be hosting more of those seasonally. We also have non-alcoholic happy hours that are going to also be available, and then the business meets well-being meetups that are digital and in person. So that being a part of the go-to-market plan, leveraging internal and external partners and team. So by that I mean we're repping their affiliates, they're repping our affiliates, so there can be a little bit of a rev share there. And yeah, leveraging promo codes. There's an aspect of virality and community that is an important part of this. And probably the most important piece, aside from this beautiful vision that I've shared, is that what do people want? So if you're listening to this and you're like, holy shit, what a download, or however you're feeling right now, what do you see? What's missing? What do you want to see more of? Do you feel like I'm trying too much? Do you have an idea? I want to hear. And ultimately, this isn't for me, although it's been very much inspired by my journey and things I would have loved to have had along the way. I am inspired to serve and to serve you and to serve future members and to serve who needs it. So I'm my deepest understanding of the problem. What is the problem? I think people are lacking the resiliency to handle life. And a part of building that up is well-being. And the other side of this is the challenge that new entrepreneurs and emerging entrepreneurs face, either never making the leap. So they want to start something or have something, but they don't know how, or they are in those early stages, but just burning out, and the financial and stress repercussions that can happen from that, especially in key relationships. So that's the overarching problem. I look at society and I see deaths of despair. I see loneliness. I see bullshit jobs. I see just these devastating health impacts that are caused by preventative lifestyle, that are caused by lifestyle choices that could be easily preventable by lifestyle changes. And as much as I see all that as a huge problem, I see my opportunity to be a piece of the solving of the problem. So thank you for going on this journey with me. My goodness, has it been a wild ride, and I'm always open to feedback, insights, and yeah, I'm excited to see what I can create from this little recording here. And if you want to hear the recap of that, feel free to reach out and we'll go from there. Have a great day. I'll see you next week on the Lila Life Show.